meeting to order at 18:30 hours. Next item will be recognition of public, which is Herb Meyer from Emergency Management LGS Fire District, whatever. Sheriff Keith Clark, Marley and Carol are here for.
They look kind of grangy to me, huh?
Well, I'm more school board.
School, okay.
Website and Rohan Prav, and it sits out in the other room when we want him to come.
Okay.
Approval of the minutes for the last meeting.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is that down there? Go for it. Yeah.
That's it.
And we move right along to new business. And Sheriff, Keith, you have the floor.
You can move right along. Bottom line is I'm about 9 days late.
9 years?
9 days.
Oh, phew.
Need a new contract. I'm assuming that you want to retain our services for another year. The contract has not changed. The only thing that's changed, there's a slight dollar increase, which should have gone into effect for you last year, but you got away with it.
You're just trying to make us feel good. I know. Such a deal.
But it goes from $42 to $43 an hour, and that's the deputy, the car, mileage is included. Other than that, I have not made any changes to your contract. The overall annual amount is the same. I didn't know if it was Guilford's intent to change, but having not heard from you, I assumed it was going to stay the same.
Yeah.
One of the things that we are doing in some other towns that we're trying this year, one is doing, instead of hourly billing, doing monthly billing. You get the same hours, we account for each hour, but you get a flat rate bill every month. It's something that you can consider doing.
Did you talk about the pros and cons or how that plays out? You get a flat rate bill?
The
hours must vary.
It just makes it, the hours vary, usually more than less. So with flat rate billing, the towns end up with a few hours more than what you actually get billed for.
So why would you choose to do that then? Just
because on our end, it's easier to bill. Okay. Instead of us having to really sit down every 2 weeks and go through all the reports, just once a month, we send you a bill, but you also get the same STARS reports, same ticket reports, and any other information you desire, number of incidents we respond to. So it's a little easier on our part, and on the other side, you guys get a few more hours. The town does. Something the other towns are also doing, the towns that are going to the flat monthly billing, is to set aside so many hours, usually 10 to 20% of their time, for the deputies being able to answer the smaller calls, incidents. So if they're here in town and someone says they got that trespassing complaint, they got the smashed mailbox complaint, the trooper say it's going to be 3 or 4 hours because we only got 2 troopers on, or things happen. Because we're here and we're able to take care of those calls. It only take 10 or 15 minutes, and we can follow up on it. We've been doing that a little bit this past year. We've been doing some of the smaller stuff for you. We haven't billed you for it. So what we've done with other towns, let's say that they contract for 30 hours a month. They set aside 3, but if we don't use them, it just rolls over to the next month. So the next month you can say, give us 6 set aside for, or do more traffic enforcement. You let us know, and we'll let you know what hours.
So you're still going to be keeping track of the hours?
Right, we still keep track of all the hours. You still know how many hours we're here, and what kind of calls we answer. We're not going to take.
It's just a flat rate.
Bill's just a flat rate once a month. It'll take your $4,000 total, divide it by 48, and you'll get, or divide it by 12, and that's what it'll be. So, what, about $350 a month, somewhere in there. So it's just a little easier for us on the billing side, and you get a couple extra hours, is what we're finding in most towns.
So putting that little bit of time aside would be if somebody, like you said, called up and said that they had something unusual other than patrol hours, you would be responding to that.
Correct. And we're not going to take on the burglary rings. We're not going to take on the aggravated sexuals, the ones that take a lot of investigative time and take a lot of resources, because we could burn through your small allotted dollar amount very quickly. But then the ones, someone came out in the morning and found that someone overnight drove on their lawn. They want it documented. If we're already down here doing some law enforcement patrol time, they go there, they take some pictures, they see if they can identify. Sometimes the tracks are very distinct. They can say, hey, I know that the vehicle this belongs to. And then someone knows that they had someone respond, someone's going to follow up. And it doesn't. The other upside of that is we find that deputies end up patrolling roads that they don't normally drive on. Because they're going to respond to that, the call at the far end of Weatherhead Hollow Road, and then they're driving back forth to that call, and now they're starting to see parts of the town they don't normally patrol. So people in the town of Guilford would see deputies where they don't normally see them. That's a big thing too. So that's something to consider. If we can either adjust this year, or you can think about it for future years. That's really all I have, unless you have questions for me.
would you like to set aside?
Yeah, I like the idea of the flat rate if it's easier for you and if it benefits us. And I guess I have no problem with the set aside of like a couple hours a month. You're talking about 2 or 3.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I think it's a good idea.
Well, let's give it a go and see. So I'd like to make a motion that is that what's in the contract?
No, this is the same as last year, so what I can do is I can email it down.
Is that last year's contract? Or is that?
No, this is this year's, but I haven't adjusted it for the flat rate billing, so I'll do that and email it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we enter into services with the Sheriff's Department, contract for FY13, with the adjustment of a flat monthly bill, and a set aside of 3 hours out of each month for less predictable kinds of incidences. Is that a fair way of saying it?
Yep, perfect.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to make a second motion that we designate the chair as able to sign that contract when it comes in, having had us approve it, so that rather than all of us have, I don't know if we all have to sign it or not anyway, but that we just designate that the chair sign it, so you can email it down and we can get it in less than 12 days later.
Your current contract has a 30-day overlap anyway, so we're recovered. Best email to use?
GuilfordTA@yahoo.com.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Guilford@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Unless you have any other questions for me, I'm going back to my training.
No, thanks, Keith, and thanks also, it's great to hear about the possibility of more patrols on less frequented roads. I think Guilford does get a reputation with kids for a good place to go spin around fast, so it's good to have the presence on the roads.
And I just had 2 deputies graduate the full-time school. They're out on patrol now. I'm sending one of my full-timers to the K-9 school. We've already purchased the dog. He's going to school this fall. That's a big benefit, particularly when it comes to search and rescue.
Great.
To have that resource available to the towns.
There's no dog in Wyndham. In this area right now.
Currently, the closest dog is Trooper Hughes out of the Rockingham Bears. Yeah, Brett PD doesn't have a dog, neither does the ESP.
Well, you know Gally? Did you know Gally? Jeff Trio's dog?
Oh, just passed him, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd heard that.
Jeff's been off the road, or his dog's been off the road for a little while, but yeah, so, those are some of the things that we're doing. Just trying to provide more services at no cost to the towns.
Is Mark coming back soon?
Yep. Per the rules that he lives under, we're not allowed to say specifically when he's due back.
Yep, it's good enough.
Mark is doing well, and will be back soon.
Thank you.
I know he's doing well. I got an email from him today. So.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yes. Big Glennis, you'll be you, yes. The Ashworth Road update.
Great. Do you have pictures?
Yeah, I saw them electronically and we got a copy or two, so yeah.
Okay.
Share?
Sure. I'm coming to you to see if we can find a solution so we can get access to our lot. We're the only lot that doesn't have Class 3 road that's buildable on Ashworth.
Okay.
And my understanding from a conversation last year is that the connection to Fitch will eventually be class. Right, exactly. And it actually even starts right at Fitch, but the topography is difficult right there. So, I was just measuring today, and ideally, for 550 feet from Fitch up would give us access to the field. But if that's not doable, there's 280 feet less. There is a cut that we could use. So my first request is, would you consider upgrading that little section to class 3? But if you do agree, we wouldn't want this, the 50-foot right-of-way. We'd rather keep it the way it is because we love the trees and the stone walls. So we're hoping that you would consider that.
Okay, number one, you're saying you're the only family without access. We have 4 houses in Guilford that have to go through Massachusetts to get home. They live on a class 4 road and they've been there for years and they've never asked us to upgrade the road. Number 2, our town policy, our road policy says you have to bring it up to class 3 standards, which is a 50-foot right-of-way and all that. And we can't very well deter from that because if we set a precedent, it creates a...
There are unfortunately many, many people in town in your predicament. And I think that, not on Ashford Road,
Right.
but many, many people on class 4 roads or private roads who would love the town to bring their road up to class 3 specifications. I mean, I think that's what Dick is talking about. There are literally, I don't know, hundreds, would it be safe to say hundreds of people, lots and lots of people in this situation. So other than us changing the ordinance to say that we would upgrade roads, and I know just what you're talking about the trees, because I live on a class 3 road that doesn't meet the specifications because the trees are close.
And Ashworth doesn't meet the
Sure,
specifications. So
yeah.
it would mean that the last little tail
would suddenly be
would
like a
suddenly-
superhighway.
Right,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
doesn't make sense
I
to me.
understand that. The obvious, I'm going to say this, and I know you thought about it, is that usually when you buy a piece of property in that situation, it's incumbent on the property owner to bring the road up to the specifications that work for you. You don't have to have a 50-foot wide road. You don't have to follow those specifications, but it's your maintenance and your nickel in a sense. So, as I said, there are many other people, myself included, who are in your situation, who land that is only accessible via a class 4 road.
One thing I wasn't clear on was what kind of maintenance you do for class 4. Because
if you, number one, you would bear the total expense for bringing the road up to the class 3 standards.
right.
There's no guarantee at all that we would provide any maintenance on that road.
Once it's up to class 3 standards. But I think what Glennis was asking, I believe, was what maintenance do we provide for class 4 roads?
Right.
In a general policy,
right.
you mean?
Yeah. My first question was with the idea that I would bring it up to class
Sure.
3 and then you would accept it, but not the full year.
I see. Oh, so you were talking about yourselves bringing it up to class.
Right.
I see.
So, I understood I'd have to pay for the
I misunderstood
improvement.
that. Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to do it if I had to do it to your specs, because
Right.
I think that would be totally disruptive.
Yeah, I understand.
So that was my first question, because I wouldn't spend that money unless you would take it.
Right.
And the other thing with class 4, I knew it wasn't year-round, but I thought the ruts and stuff would be taken care of.
The general heading for class 4 is that state and town culverts and bridges only, and there's neither one on that road, so basically there's no maintenance at all.
And I guess my last issue was, if I do put money into that road, it's used, fairly often by a lot of substantial vehicles, which could damage the road.
Sure.
So So that was the one, that was my main reason for coming to you,
Sure.
because they probably use it a lot more than I
And you
will
do.
be. So that was my main issue.
And you're not the first person to have brought that up.
Yeah.
We're revisiting, these are highway ordinances, correct? Because there are other people who have talked about the fact that when you have a Class 4 road, you as a private citizen are maintaining a public road that people can travel on.
Right.
And there seems to be a little bit of, that seems like not quite cricket. So, as we're looking at our highway ordinances, we'll probably be revising them. I would invite you to give your input in that situation, because I think we all recognize that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, because I'm willing to pay to improve it, but I don't
But then if
wanna-
somebody's destroying it or...
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
Correct.
Yeah.
so that's my issue.
I understand.
And you get a fair amount of traffic on that road anyway.
Yeah.
And especially during hunting season.
Exactly.
And,
I know, I've been up and I've seen like quite
Yeah,
a few.
oh, I know,
Yeah.
I understand.
And we have a fair amount of Class 4 roads in town that are not maintained where a number of residents live,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not just one.
Right.
And the town doesn't maintain those roads either, so for
Three that I
one
could- yeah.
versus several, I mean, we have several roads.
I mean, it's something, and that's why I said if you, stay, maybe through the website, follow the meeting minutes or whatever, but I do think that as we look at this ordinance, we need to, that's an issue, the one that you brought up specifically, about when you as a private citizen are maintaining a public road, how that,
Yeah, that's what's not
Right, I
comfortable.
understand. Sure.
You know, if it were private,
then you could say, you can't come here, this is private.
Right, because you
Yeah.
can go through from the Class 3 to the Class 4 back to a Class 3. If I'm thinking the right spot, I mean, it's been years since I've been down through there.
Right. So basically, it's from Fitch just to the entry to the field.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I thought it was.
It's not very far.
Right.
It comes out by Miller's Orchard on Bonneville Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
exactly where you're at.
Yeah.
So,
And a good frame of reference to compare is Elijah Prince Road.
Yes.
We've never driven that road,
Yeah.
and there's a fair number of people that live on that one.
Yeah.
That's
And it is Class 3, Class 4, Class 3, I believe.
Yeah.
Then when you're considering fairness, maybe another way to look at it would be to look at our taxes, to see if we can get some relief on taxes. Because since I bought the land, which hasn't been that long, my taxes have tripled.
They haven't troubled.
No, they haven't.
They were under 400 when I bought.
I checked your tax bills today. Yeah, your tax bill has gone up a couple of $100s, but most of that increase that you're feeling isn't the town side, it's education taxes in Vermont. So,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, but do you live in Vermont or no? The way we fund education in Vermont,
Okay.
that's what you're feeling in your tax bill.
All right. Yeah.
Because education taxes, not our town taxes are actually quite low by comparison.
Okay. All right.
We looked at that.
Yeah, and we do, your assessed value has remained the same since when you purchased your property. So I tried to, do some due diligence.
it's tough. I think, there are examples, you talked about Abijah Prince Road, we've talked a lot about Melody Road, we've talked about Bullock Road, where there are
There's a
big
lot.
houses paying huge tax bills and on Class 4 roads that are not maintained by the town. The issue is, we're going to look at it as we look at our highway ordinance. I'm not sure what we can do, but we feel your pain.
All right.
And it's a widespread topic throughout Vermont. It really is. This happens all over Vermont. And it's a limited tax base that has a lot of service that it needs to provide on a really tight dollar.
There's a couple things that there's a time frame for that we have to be notified previous to the work. That's 120 days if you decide to go ahead and do it. And I would suggest strongly that you have another meeting with the road commissioner and talk to him.
About, if they decide to bring that to Class 3, you mean?
If they
I don't think they're going to, I don't think you want
I
to.
have the
doubt
ability
it.
to do that,
Yeah.
because they have to
Because you would,
designate that.
Right, I'm not going to do it to class 3 for your specs.
Yeah, I
because
understand.
it's-
It would take down probably a bunch of
It would
beautiful...
destroy the whole reason we wanted to be there.
Yeah, there's a great stone wall, there's
Yeah,
a great sugar
So
maple.
technically you can't do anything to it.
Well, no, I can't have it.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly you can.
But if I just work on it, I don't need to come to you for
Yes, you
no.
do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
Sorry, my
yes,
mistake. You're
You
right.
can't do any work, your town trails, Class 4 roads, plant roads, blah, 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 without permission of the select board.
I thought that was just burning.
No.
No.
Okay.
So that's something,
Yeah, 'cause I
there
did-
again, that's something there again, you would have to submit a plan.
Okay, because I did talk to them last year and he didn't.
Yeah, no, that is correct, that I.
And would it happen faster than?
You'd have to
3
get,
months?
you'd have to get a contractor in there and look at it and come up with a plan and a bid and all
Sure.
that, and there's no guarantee that it would be,
No, that's not true.
it probably would be accepted, but I mean, you still, we'd have to, okay. you know.
Sure, I think, and would it happen faster than 3 months? I would say, yeah, if you put it on the agenda, if you can get somebody up there and make a plan.
Yeah, I've actually had somebody look at it. so,
Good. Right. Are you planning on building up there soon, so you'd like to?
Well, not this year.
Well, then I think through the course of the fall you'd have.
But I have a tiny camper, so we wanted to go.
Yeah,
and,
you want to get
think
there,
about it
right,
and
right,
start,
right.
you know,
Right.
and, you know, basically, I guess one suggestion I would have if you're looking at the ordinance
Sure.
is what makes this an issue, because when we first bought, the ruts weren't as bad, and what's happening is where the car ruts are getting deeper and the middle's getting higher. So it's getting to the point
You're
where.
pushing, when
It's
somebody's
pushing.
gone through there, when it's really soft, and
Soft.
they push the organics out where the cars roll
Right.
through, and it's just sinking
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
So-
So keep in mind, we had a really significant
No.
weather event
I
that
know.
impacted that last year too. So
And I think that's,
that,
I think that
yeah, I think
aggravated
that
it.
aggravated
No, I
it
know.
Yeah,
hugely.
so I really do.
Yeah.
But
There's
if
a
you're
huge
looking
boulder
at.
right as a part of the roadway there,
Right.
and I think that directs a lot of nature's activities as well.
No, I'm sure it was
Yeah.
the storm last
Yeah,
year
it was
that
amazing
made
the
it
impact it had.
Worse.
right,
Oh.
worse. But, you know, if you're looking at class 4 and you're looking at the policy, you know, maybe just a simple grading so that it's not as extreme, because I would assume that you want those for emergency purposes,
That's a good point.
you know.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I expected with a class 4, was it was just for.
Were you not aware of the sort of the guidelines when you purchased the property, or?
I knew that you had to upgrade it for year round, but I didn't understand that there was actually no maintenance of the road.
Right, there's no.
Yeah, you know, so I thought you would make it passable.
Right.
Yeah. So, but, that is what it is.
Bring us a plan.
So,
Yeah, and there will, I'm sorry for your misunderstanding of that, and it's, I think that we can do everything we could to support expediting your ability to upgrade the road to your specifications. So,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
I know it sounds hard, but, you know, as I said,
No,
that's why I was hoping that just when you bought the property, you were aware of those,
Yeah.
that when you're buying.
Well, I knew money had to go into the road.
Right,
you know,
okay, yeah,
so.
yeah.
But, no, I appreciate it, and I actually expected it.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
All right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
thank you.
Rob, I must get one.
Sounds like
You're up.
I'm calling for
Yeah.
preparing from the magistrate.
Maybe I better.
Yeah.
Conservation Committee, the last meeting, thought we ought to have a town website, and we have dealt with that for years. We contracted with an outfit up north, and it was supposed to be taken care of by donations, advertising. It didn't work out anyway. So, we have Prav here tonight. He is going to hopefully explain and set us up with a program so every organization in town can shoot their information straight to this program and be on a town website. Can you do that for us?
Every organization in town, what does that entail?
Yeah, I mean, like you got school, you got.
Okay.
What, can I ask one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it questions?
Broke.
Yeah,
What is not working?
The school does a great job, but they're, what's your lag time, 3 weeks, something like that?
Varies quite a bit,
Yeah.
but it's about a week normally for the school year.
When I looked at the select board page today, the minutes, the most recent minutes were from May. I assume there may have been a couple of meetings since then.
You related to Neil Quinn, because he would have said something.
I mean, I can tell you the last time I sent them over.
Well, I think when he said every organization in town, maybe there's two separate groups there. There's the town, there's the conservation committee, there's the road, there's maybe the fire department, sort of the town organizations. And then there's the Grange, the Historic Society, the Guilford Cares,
The
you know,
library.
the nonprofits.
Sure.
And so, you know, there's just been very preliminary conversations about, you know, maybe a town website, and then working with maybe the Gazette to incorporate more community connection for the nonprofits. And so maybe that's two slightly separate conversations.
Well, I guess what I would wonder, because as Dick said, we worked with this group called Kevlar or something.
Yes.
It wasn't like that. Kevco. And you know, when I went and Googled Town of Guilford, the school's website came up, and it was beautiful, and it was, you know, and the little Kevco thing, you could almost not find it, and it was, frankly, not a great website. Now, it sounds like we could do a better one, but I mean, I guess I would like us to stay tied.
I'm not a webmaster.
Yeah, I would like us to stay tied in with the school website, because I think it's vibrant, and maybe there's some way we could support that so that there's not the lag time, especially in the summer. I'm imagining, Stuart, that's a harder time. But I don't know, I'm just guessing.
It is. I mean, I do think while the school site and the kids at the school have served the town fairly well and better than the previous site, there is that ethic of wanting the kids to post the minutes during the school year and not jumping on it right away, apart from the fact of being really busy. So it's true that there's a lag time with school scheduling, but I wouldn't want to necessarily stand in the way of a new site. It is an older site, and the idea of having a content management system where people can post things that's more akin to iPutney, or I don't think I brought up that's a very good model, but something where a person can send a post directly to the site, and maybe you have somebody, I wouldn't be surprised if it might be you, just glance at the post, make sure it's not really inappropriate in some way, and then click the button, and then up it goes. And that way things from the community come up faster, and things like select board minutes can go up almost immediately. But so it kind of makes sense eventually to move to a site like that. It's true though that probably somebody like Kathy Wilkin, who's capable of making changes on our current site, or myself, depending on time of year, could turn around the minutes a good deal faster.
Well, but what about having like a Grange, you know, I mean, what you're talking about is a place where from this site people can go to the Grange, can go to the Historical Society.
So all those will just be links.
Yeah, so we could maintain pages. That's the idea, I think, that we're talking about here, that we could maintain pages for a number of town organizations that wouldn't necessarily need to be as immediate as select board minutes. I think there's a lot of demand for immediate information about politics in the town, but sites like the Conservation Commission, Guilford Cares, we maintain their sites. We also do the diversity committee for the Wyndham Supervisory Union, and a couple of other little things. So we could certainly maintain pages for people like that, continue to use the kids, continue, of course, to make the Gazette separately.
I think that the problem with a website, of course, is that you have to go to it. And that what some of the organizations like the Grange are looking for, something like maybe Constant Comment or something where they can send out announcements. The Conservation Committee has walks, you know, so we want to have public access to, and then that gets into a whole other layer.
So that's exactly where I was going. I'm listening to the conversation back and forth, and I think the best thing for you guys right now would be to have a blog. And blogs could mean, two different things. It could be like an open blog where anybody just can comment, or you can have pretty much almost a private blog. Meaning you have, all of you guys could be administrators on that blog. So just like you just explained about somebody posts something, it goes, you guys get an email about this post, you review it, and then one of you submit that post to the blog. The blog, again, you can design that as an actual website, a true website. You won't even know it's a blog. It looks like a really pretty cool website, and you have all your links, all your menus up top. You could have the school, the Grange, links to all those other things. Again, content can come from a lot of different folks, and then you guys just approve the content. I think that would be the easiest way. And blogs, again, cost nothing.
So,
I think the idea is sort of trying to eliminate that third person and getting it from point A to the website instead of going through this person, that person, go right straight to the website.
Well, but
you can do that with the blog.
Yeah, but you're going to need somebody to, no matter, you're going to get lots of spams on that. If you open up to the public, you're going to have, people are just going to post any kind of nonsense, nothing related to what.
I guess it would have to be
somebody's got it.
someone from each, someone from Grange, someone from.
So could you have an administrator from the Grange
To
and
the
from,
organizations that are represented on the site.
instead of just us?
Oh yeah, you guys can set up anybody you want. That's the beauty with a blog. You can set up anybody you want, to be an administrator. Give them some sort of rights.
Yeah, I mean, what would make sense to me would be to have an administrator from each organization that wants to put posts up.
That's what we were coming up with. Is
Okay,
Now,
rather
so
than
there
us.
was,
So the best thing would be a blog.
Because there's only one of us that ever looks at her computer with any regularity.
Though probably whoever had these rights would be getting all of if they were set up as an administrator, they would see all of the mail, and they would have to read through. I mean, if you're thinking of a separate person from each organization, they'd have to say, oh, does that apply to my organization?
Yeah, you could just
Or
have
else-
one person do emails, because you can, the settings
That's how they
pretty
normally
flexible.
do it, is having one or
One
two or
person.
three people.
Yeah.
Just kind of, and really what you're looking at is it seem appropriate?
Can a blog send out like emails to a listserv?
To a listserv,
Yeah.
it has a RSS feed. I think you can, because a lot of people, I know a few groups in Baltimore that use blogs on the list, and they have a listserv connected to it. Like
Great, so if you had a calendar or something,
they
you
just
could
like
send out
split
like
it
a group
Yeah.
calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's it.
Yeah, blog would be the most flexible and easiest to use. Because, I mean, you don't have to have any creative talent, really, to...
It's idiot-proof.
You just walk from templates and wizards. You just choose a template that looks good to you, and you can. I mean, granted, you can change pictures, headings, and different things to suit you guys, but yeah,
So
you don't
then,
have to start.
what would happen to the school website? It would,
Well,
It'd be a
what
little
I
bit,
imagine
it sounds
is that it would become a site where there are pages for a variety of organizations that we're able to serve. And it would be a better place to get things like, this is our policy, this is the Constitution, this is our mission. Whereas on this site, it would be
There's a walk on Sunday,
constantly
yeah.
changing what is happening now.
mhm.
And I assume there might be a spot where you could find some major thing like select board minutes.
Yeah, you can have anything
Sounds
like
more
that. you can
social.
have. Yeah.
If you want to put that term on it.
Yeah,
What was
and
that,
so in
Katie?
that
More
sense,
social than informational?
it's more
Mhm.
interactive,
Interactive.
and it's more technologically up to date. I would say that.
Yeah.
And the information doesn't become a matter of record, it becomes...
That's one of the problems with it actually, is that if you want to keep all of the information that is on the site, you need some way of saving it, and that's a big task.
Right. Yeah, but the thing with blogs, though, again, you have archives. So if you
Okay.
you can go back as long as
As
you
far
want.
as you want.
As long as if you use Google or Yahoo, you can go back pretty far because they give you tons of space for that. But so every topic you ever discuss, everything that you ever post on that, it's once you move it up, it's archived. So you can always go back on. There's always
It
going
would
to
be
be a link.
but it's a very long list, and you have to weed through it and sort it out
Right.
if you care to.
And in the beginning, there's always going to be a link for those archives.
Yeah.
So you're going to see those. And
That's
like you want some news from last month, it would be there. You might click on June, and then they give you a list of everything that was done in June. And all those are done behind the scene automatic.
So how would people find out about this blog? They would Google Town of Guilford and the blog would come up? Is
Well,
that-
ideally, what happens is that Google picks a location that's popular for searching a town, and currently it's got, the town school site, and it has for a long time. In
Right.
fact, it was searched so much more than the previous site. It remained what happens when you type in Town of Guilford, Vermont.
Right.
You
Yeah.
get to this. So what we would want is ideally to have a lot of users and to redirect Google toward this site for the town of Guilford. And it's a little, you might even, I don't know a ton about how to make it change, except that the amount of use is a factor.
Yeah.
And links too, so when we make
Yeah,
all these
links.
links, that'll help bring it up.
Yeah. Both Google and Yahoo has a registration page for that kind of search. So you pretty much you gotta go in and then you will register this site that you creating, and then it will give it a ranking. So if it's the only one here, then it's going to be ranked #1. So that's how they.
I don't know whether I can change the description of our site so that it doesn't say Town of Guilford in it.
Yeah, you can.
That would be helpful.
That's one of the what do you call that? That's one of the
Okay.
search words that you put in.
So we could do that.
Terms that you put in.
Yeah,
Town
I'm
of
sure my
Guilford,
wife did that years ago.
Guilford, Selectboard, all those kind of different terms you put in there.
So that would be helpful. And then if when you went to it, you would see that it was now the site for an organization.
So would that site, then that blog, would not have like information, history of Guilford? Guilford was founded in, or that kind of
It
thing?
could. It absolutely could, but it would be
That's
kind of grouped out in a very different way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be quite as structured in the sense of probably going to a site and being able to see a whole lot of pictures and that sort of thing. What you would get is a lot of posts.
Well, that's what I was thinking, posts that were short-term, and somebody was making the distinction between social, interactive, and informational, and that the school site has more informational. I
Yeah.
just wondered if we lose that element.
And we-
No, you won't. I mean, you could, as I said earlier, you can set up a blog right now as if it's a regular website. So you have this space for the comments, and you can have some of those history things where you don't allow comments on those.
Sure,
Those are
right.
pages, and then you have other pages for other things that you enter, put up there, then you could
And
solicit
would we have the
comments.
ordinances on that site?
Yeah, you could have
Yeah,
all
you
those.
could.
You could have all those. A lot
And you
of
could
this-
have a little tag for them.
Yeah.
Something that said town.
I just don't
Can
want
we, do you know of a site that's a blog site that fools the eye into thinking it's a website that
Oh,
we
yeah.
could look at? I don't even
Well, I
know.
think they're very common now.
Yeah, they're very, very common. I'll give you one. I can't remember it off my head. It's, let me go into my Facebook here.
But iPutney's a good one to look at, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's
is
the
iPutney
town
a blog?
hall doesn't use iPutney as its official site. It
Is it
is
a-
a more static site.
Is it a dot, what?
It's
com?
iPutney.org.
One thing about iPutney, I
could be
emailed
wrong, it
them
might
and
be
they said
.com.
there's 5 administrators who put like 3 hours a week into it. So
Yeah,
you're looking 15, 20
it's
hours
true.
a week
There's a lot of looking
of
at
volunteer
posts.
time to keep it going. So whether that's 1 hour from the Grange, 1 hour from conservation, I mean, there's got to be some coordination about who's doing all that because
It kind of
those are pretty
depends.
intensive
I mean,
sites.
I will say just, I feel like our office is stretched too thin already.
No, it wouldn't be the town
Yeah,
site. I'm
yeah,
just saying.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
whoever it is that's doing this blog has to kind of realize there has to be some core organization.
Yeah, so that's why you're gonna have more than one people doing it. So
I think it
so
might
maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to call it.
Katie, are you on
I'll just stop this here.
are you on your web now,
Well,
Katie?
could it be the Gazette? And then people like from the Grange could come volunteer to help the Gazette keep this all going, and because I think the Gazette has such a good reputation, everybody loves it.
I'm not connecting right now, it's saying it can't find it.
We could maybe even people would advertise with it and things.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm interested in that suggestion, Marley, because I don't, because, what do you mean, the Gazette, the newspaper?
Well, there's the mailed out Gazette, but could it be like the Gazette going online
Uh-huh.
and the school still kind of umbrella-ing it in a different format, but drawing on the resources of the people that want to use the blog, which would be like the Grange and
Uh-huh.
Guilford Cares and things.
I think they'd have to go to the school board and talk to them and the administrator about that.
About using the
Well, I
Gazette.
think what would
Yeah.
come up is that
.com.
your bottom line need at least 2
That's our blog.
people who are not students or teachers who are going to be looking at posts on a regular basis. And I think it's a good model, but I think that you would get a fair amount of traffic. One thing that's different from the site for iPutney is that iPutney is the site that deals with the wide array of town organizations, and everybody posts their stuff there, ranging from, will you watch my kitten, to, this new store is opening. And if it were somehow a focused town politics-related site, you could reduce your traffic a lot more. But if
Focus
it was
towns, when you say politics, you mean
select board, town offices,
Grange,
I mean-
fire district, school
Okay.
board?
But there
Well,
is
once
a
it
need
were-
for that kind of posting too, so.
it's
I think-
true. But it's a lot to look at, as iPutney folks have found out. And one other thing that's worth bringing up is that periodically the site needs to be updated.
Refresh.
Yeah. And then occasionally, it's only happened on my sites once or twice, but you might get something like a spam attack.
Yes.
Yeah, you got something?
Technically, I'm not supposed to get involved, but it would sound like to me that you could avoid. iPutney sounds like iBrattleboro, which is a private initiative that anybody can post to, and it sounds like to me that your solution is that the public doesn't post to it. Only the administrators would post for it. Therefore, you wouldn't be deluged with posts because posts would come from a designated person, say one person from the Grange, or one person from the school board, or let's say Katie's your designated she would say, we need to make sure this goes up. And in that way, you're not dealing with posts from the public, you're dealing only from designated administrators. So that was the only thought I'd share.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I said at the beginning to make it a public or private.
So we would
So
want
if
it
it's
private.
private, then you have to designate the people.
That would
Yeah.
probably be a good answer all around.
So
I think every organization has someone that'd be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Bethany's volunteered for the conservation committee.
And basically,
Thank you.
they would be the submitters,
Yeah.
and then somebody else.
So
would be
anything that would go
administrator.
through the fire department in terms of a blog would go through Bevan or whatever thing you're doing, versus going to Katie or somebody else.
Right.
So that it's been vetted through.
Right.
Okay.
And when you talk about the school as well, so the school would use this site as well, and
Well,
Well, that's why I'm
it's
here.
a
I
good
don't know if that
question.
would work.
I have no idea what the school's plan is. I have this general sense that they have created a site that is more of a blog site through Google tools, and it has a very long URL. But I think that that's the website that they're primarily planning to use come the fall.
are you talking about the Guilford School?
The Guilford School. And for that, I am not a spokesperson. Joanne Tyler and John Gagnon are spokespeople for
So
that.
different than guilfordschool.org.
That's correct.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't
Yeah.
either.
So,
That's my impression, and
I'm in the school board. I didn't know
I'm
that.
not
So
responsible.
could that other site be
responsible.
put to bed?
What's that?
Would Guilford
Well,
Selectboard-
I can't imagine a good reason to do that. I still think it can exist and change and serve town organizations, as we were talking about. We can continue to maintain a page and presence for Guilford Cares, for Guilford Conservation Commission, for the Historical Society, all these organizations that we pretty much have lots of information available for already.
Did you guys know the school was doing that?
That's my impression.
So, Prop, would it make sense then, Dick, for us to make a motion to have Prop set up a blog?
Yes.
People change their mind. We
And
continue.
we could designate people from various organizations that are represented here, and then other organizations that aren't represented could approach us and say who their designated person is going to be.
And then we would set up our informational pages through the school. The nonprofits would, and then the Conservation Commission will set up pages through the town site. Is that how it's working?
I don't know why.
Why can't we just,
Why
why
can't
can't
we
we
just
just
charge
charge
them?
Well, because like Stuart was just saying, like if you want to have like the list of who the Grange officers are, or how to rent through the Grange, or something where it's static, would that be on a different thing than the
I
blog?
see what you mean.
And then the blog would link to that.
Yeah,
Is
the
that the
static
idea?
information can be there as well.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so
it
you
doesn't,
guys
it doesn't hurt to have it in two places.
You think it would be easily findable?
I
Can
can't
you
tell
make
yeah, I can't tell you what the name
So
is
that,
mentioned, yeah.
so that can.
You gotta try to make it as simple as possible. You might have to, what you guys might have to do, you might have to pay for a domain name instead of using the, what is it now? Something google.blogsphere.
It's a very, very long URL.
Yeah, very long. So
Which
you might
is
rather
ideal.
just buy a domain name for like
Sure.
$10 a year to get your own name. Yeah. So you'll be like,
Yeah, that doesn't cost much. But you need somebody to buy it for you.
I did.
right, Guilford Selectboard.com.
Pay the bill and make
Yeah.
sure that they're notifying you.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion, unless, do you have other questions?
No, my head is spinning.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Props to create a blog for us and for the town of Guilford, that we authorize the payment of $10 a year or whatever to buy a domain name, and that we...
Not to exceed $50 per year
Okay.
for a domain name.
Thank you. So we don't know exactly what it would be.
Right.
And that we work on contacting organizations to get a designated person who will be the administrator from each organization to post to the blog.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
That would be.
Can that not be Prop? Can Prop not be?
I don't know if Prob's wanting to do that,
Is that too boring?
To be a project,
to coordinate it.
to coordinate.
I know,
I think
you
you're
probably
more
said
interested in the actual
Yeah, one of you guys need to.
technological aspects of it. I didn't get the sense that you wanted to be the
Right.
coordinator.
Since I'm going to be doing that, I shouldn't be like.
Yeah.
coordinator with the project.
Once it's set up, there's not much coordinating to it anyways. I mean,
Right, I'm just going to set it up and then hand it off.
yeah.
So,
We'll figure that out
You
later.
need
I
a
just
lot
need
of,
to.
you need a lot of content eventually, which Katie's really good at supplying. But you'll need a lot.
So there you go.
Katie's plate's
Just set it up,
already full.
send you an email.
Yeah.
There you go, Katie, and then you go.
I mean, I'd be happy to work with you, like, to get the
Let's
structure
let's-
set up, but
You can
in
go
terms
to
of
our
coordinating
website
everybody.
and take all the old PDFs for the select board minutes, and a lot of it's there.
So I
have
guess
the
what I
law
would
as
say,
well.
let's not designate, we'll
Okay.
start with this step and then
Yeah.
figure out how it's going to impact in terms of our select board administrator.
All right, any more questions? I'm all cleared up on this one.
Imagine that.
There was one question that was asked about how to like get information from the school new website. Forward to this. There's what they call the RSS feed. So if you designate like one page where they have those main information, you put that on their blog, it will just bring over that information. As soon as that's updated, it will create a little section for that, so people will read like a few lines. And if they're picking it, it will take them over to the
Where
whole
all
thing.
the archives were already
So once it's
located.
done at the school site, it doesn't have to be re-administered
No,
through the board?
won't have to be.
Nice.
So, and can you make if every organization sends you their email list, you can make like a consolidated email list?
Yeah, what
Just send
happened, yeah,
things
those, you can have people, like those organizations, submit, sign up to get that RSS feed from any of these sites. So when something new is put up, they get an email, or this is, this whatever it is, and they just click on it and it takes you to that.
What we might arrange is, once the site is set up, we might have Prav either come to a meeting or do an
Yeah.
informal little training, with a little screen showing everybody how they can get access, just to,
Yeah, the people who are going to act as
Sure,
administrator,
exactly.
that makes
yeah.
wonderful sense.
I think we're all in favor at this point. Aye.
All right, thank you. I think that's a good discussion, and I'm sorry I wasn't even aware that we had a problem, so.
If you have a computer,
No, but they make a point,
Just
it's
wait and see what
like, for
develops.
sharing of
Can
the,
see
there's
how
a conservation walk on Sunday, you would tell me
Or
better than that.
where we can go and have that be
All right,
helpful.
yeah.
Bye, thanks,
Yeah,
Tony.
no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, now can we get back up to the personnel policy that was developed and need a motion to approve?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the new and improved updated 2012 personnel policy.
That makes sense.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we get into the goodies. Guilford water line.
I'm just gonna step out to the page.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming.
I give it back. So I'll give it back, I'll give him back his.
Are we moving on to the next one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we mentioned Guilford water.
Sorry.
I figured it was yours too, or hers on the other.
We have a proposal from Stevens & Associate who did the design and all of the services for the main route and extensions of the water line. And one of the things through this process that we're trying to explore is the feasibility of individual connections along the route, who would be able to connect and who wouldn't. Based on their design of the system, they're the ones who are best able to determine if it's feasible for certain residents to hook up and not. And that way we can pool a group of people that it will be likely that they could connect based on design and cost estimates that this proposal would provide for us.
So can I give you an example, but I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about?
Yep.
But along Route 5, there are the people who are on the right side of the road, and they probably...
Heading south.
Heading south.
Correct.
And they probably will not be able to
Correct.
hook into the system because the system's going under the road on the other side.
Correct.
Is this feasibility study in any way to address that issue or not?
It's to see if that would even be possible.
Right, because you'd have to go under Route 5 a
Yeah, it
second
would
time.
require boring and permitting and that sort of stuff, and it's exploring what exactly would be needed to do the different connections in terms of if it's even feasible, if it's cost prohibitive, if there's permitting that would be required. Obviously, if we went under Route 5 again, that would be probably very exorbitant with regard to cost for the residents themselves and the permitting required to do that.
How much is this feasibility study?
$3,500. And so it would design all of the dry taps, is that what it is called? Wet taps? I don't know, I'm trying to get up on all my water line lingo. It would provide the plan for the people that are going to connect, the correct place to connect, and a plan for them to follow so that the integrity of the system isn't compromised.
Is this coming out of the bond?
Probably will be.
Okay, because that's what I was concerned about, was that we hadn't budgeted.
Sure, absolutely.
And don't know enough about the process to know
Well, if
if
you
this is an anticipated cost or if this is something new. You don't know either.
No, it wasn't an anticipated cost.
it was or was not?
Was not.
And this is proposed by Stevens and Associates.
It's proposed in general.
I don't think that bond, I think what we voted on was just for the water line
The
itself,
spurs, correct.
not for this feasibility study to go into that bond.
Actually, it's everything relating to the spurs.
Are we 100%
Absolutely.
positive about that?
Yes, I am 100% positive about that. That most of these connections are on the spurs.
Okay. Well,
That we
Yeah.
know the properties down Route 5, they already have all the survey work done.
right, I see what you're saying. Okay, so the work was done for the main route.
Oh, yeah.
All the
Yes.
feasibility was done
Yes.
for that. These are for the spurs
And this
then,
is
Troy,
more a protection of that system. That
because
even if it's not covered by the bond, if there is money in a budget somewhere, we found money to do survey work on a town
it would be
line.
covered by the bond. though.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, this is protecting a system that we're putting in place, and having the proper places to tap into it.
I realize that, but I want to make sure 100% that this is covered underneath that bond before we go spending more money that's not budgeted.
Sure, I can have him break it out so that the parts that would be covered under the bond.
But you're sure it is covered under the bond? I mean, it makes sense
For
to
the
me.
parts that are the spurs, yeah, the main bulk of
I mean,
this
the
work that they
example
need
I
to do.
gave was a bad example, because that's along
Yeah.
the main route, and we already know
They're
that's
pretty much
not,
gonna eliminate that.
that's not feasible. So it's
Sure.
really about the other things that they
And I
have.
guess also too, we could talk to the people that wanna connect and see if they wanna pay for the feasibility study themselves to do this.
I don't think they would say that
How
we
many-
bonded
how
for
many-
this one.
Well, that's,
There's only 3, 4
On the spur?
on the right-hand side coming down the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah,
And
three.
then you're into the village and you
Yeah.
go, you
Yeah.
shoot back up anyway, so yeah.
I don't
And it's taking the main route and deciding where to tap into it, that it's gonna be the most cost effective and the best for the system for people to tap into it.
So the spur basically starts at the country store
Yep,
and
It
goes
does.
down that side,
And goes,
ending
yep.
on Bee Barn Road.
correct, correct.
right, that's the spur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of the spur goes from the fire station, not the fire station, doggy daycare.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where that stops.
I make the motion that we go with this feasibility study.
I can have him break it out if you would like.
Services, as long as it is covered underneath the bond, and it is not going to come out of anybody else's pocket.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And having said that, we truck right along to LG water line. Discussion, updates. I think we just had just sort of a
We had a
discussion
mini
update.
discussion
but-
on that.
There are two, I guess it's just needs one signature on it. And there are
Do
two
you
copies.
want to authorize the board chair to sign it after I find that out?
Yes.
We don't want to wait.
Wait on that. Will you pass another motion then?
Yeah, I'll make sort of an amendment to Troy's motion
Okay.
that we authorize the board chair to sign the agreement with Stevens and Associates after Katie determines whether the service is going to be paid for by the bond.
Okay, now we move on.
You want to second that?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just to kind of be brought up to speed, we are still working on the consecutive consent agreement with the town of Brattleboro. It is moving forward slowly, but forward nonetheless. Ann and I met with Capio today to discuss some of the finer points and nail down some of the language in it and some of the tables that were included in the agreement. We can still go to construction for the water line without the agreement being put in place prior to construction, so that's good news. We were hoping to be on the select board for Brattleboro's agenda for the 17th, but we would have had to have had that agreement done pretty much today to get on the agenda, which that's not happening. And we hope to start construction by the end of the month. So we meet with representative from Stevens and Associate, Brattleboro, Town of Guilford, and when the Windsor Housing Trust tomorrow morning to just move forward. We've been having regular meetings with them to make sure that everybody is aware of what everybody else is doing so that the project can move forward, because there's a lot of different pieces that work together. So that's kind of where we're at for that. I don't know if there's anything you want to...
I can't think of anything. I'll have more answers tomorrow, but.
Okay.
Bicycles.
Oh,
I don't know if anyone, I have the application, if anybody wanted to look at it. I submitted for, there's no match on the part of the town, so we get the bike racks if we get accepted for that. So I applied for the Grange, the library, and the country store parking lot, in hopes that eventually we would have more transportation through.
Well, I would just like to say that, as seems to be always the case, you have done a really good job on this, and I really thank you for seeking out this grant opportunity, and I hope we get it. What was the amount? Is it an amount, or we just get the racks?
We get the racks.
Yeah.
Get the rack.
Yeah,
Well,
and-
then they'd have to put in an area, right?
I was gonna see if we could have them be movable versus installed,
It'd be nice if they would.
because we could take them in the winter,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't get creamed by the
Yeah.
plow.
Yeah, so I just want to publicly thank you for this effort, because, and when do we find out?
I told you about the date, right? The,
Oh, yeah, so it's not till the end of August, right?
I don't think so. I need to finalize that, but,
Okay,
yeah.
Just in time for snow.
So,
Alright,
so that-
highway.
I don't, Dan's not here.
I can
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah.
Dan's been mowing.
Highway, roadside
Yeah, they've
mowing,
been doing
Yes.
culverts. They
state
got the
road,
big culvert
state
over
road graded and chlorided again today.
That's like 6 times this year
Yeah.
already, isn't it there, Mr. Chairman?
He needs every bit of it.
They're doing culvert, they're doing culvert work, they're putting chloride out, trying to keep some of the dust down.
It's really dusty.
It's very dry.
And there's a bunch of work that hopefully all is balanced out with some money so they can finish up the Irene work, but right now there's nothing, no
Well,
money.
do we know when the painting's gonna happen? I know that's not the, who is that that's doing the painting for the,
Line striping, the road striping?
yeah.
State does that. this
Yeah,
year.
I asked Danny about that this morning, and he said the state's, I do believe he said the state is doing the double yellow line this year.
I know, but I'm just
On
wondering
Center
when,
No.
because we've got Center Road and the Hollow Road, both of which
Just before the snows, usually.
Just before the snow, that's when they usually do it, is at the end of the year.
They should be, they're there, where was the other day, not too far away, they were painting, so they should be here soon.
Okay, good, just, it's, you know, it's
A little
safer.
tough at night.
Oh, it is tough at night.
I won't go where I'm going. Finances.
I'll make a motion that we pay payroll dated July 1st in the amount of $4,376.28. Payroll for July 8th in the amount of $5,409.93. For a total payroll of $9,786.21. Want to move that separately or go right on to the whole?
Good move.
Okay, warrant number 25 included with that for the amount of $8,446.15 for total expenses of $18,232.36.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye. I actually, I think I'm going to wait and address that issue in, it's about a personnel issue, but I'll address that in executive session. That's okay?
Notifications. Well, let's do the plan and payroll and
Okay.
stuff, yeah, or we gotta sign it, so.
Do you trust me? It's not your pen.
It's not my pen.
Well, Katie getting caught up.
I don't know where you...
There's 2. Did you-
Okay, yeah, I think I skipped one, I'll go back, thank you.
Luckily, the Red Sox aren't playing tonight, so I don't have to suffer through that.
Did they even
Here,
have a team
look at
this
this,
year?
Troy, because he's...
They got big puppy. And you. Oh, that's nice. That's really neat. That's nice. Okay. Communications.
I don't know if you guys remember a while ago, there was some communication about the need for constables to certify. Remember that?
yeah.
And they had a deadline that's kind of coming back down the pike again. It doesn't affect us so much because Walter is certified.
He's
Because-
a certified.
Right.
The reason we got him because he was the sheriff certified, blah, 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 blah.
Sure, but if his certification runs out, we're gonna have to ensure that our constable is certified.
So we can cross that bridge when we come to it.
We can cross that, yeah, but just keep it on the radar that that's now a law that they have to have to exercise law enforcement authority. As a law enforcement officer, as of July 1, 2012, there's a statute that says that they have to be. So that's a change.
Okay.
It's not affecting us at the moment. There was a letter that came from the Agency of Natural Resources. It's a schedule of planned stewardship activities that talks about the Fort Dummer State Park, what they're going to do there, and Sweet Pond State Park. Its activity and purposes begin permitting and capital allocation for selected alternative at Sweet Pond.
Oh, good.
So that is in print.
They're going to start the allocation process for that.
So this is a formal statement of that, which is really quite nice to see that in print. So Tim Morton and Ethan Belt are now new old friends.
They're our new best friends.
Yes, our.
It was a nice article that was in the paper there.
And just, this is not on the agenda, but on a side note, we had our steering committee that met for Sweet Pond. It was a great meeting. We got so much done in 1 hour. 1 hour. There's going to be. Sorry. So there's going to be a fundraising event on September 14th, which I believe is a Friday night. I think 7:30 at the Meeting House. Judith Sirkin is getting a group of, I think, chamber singer? I'm not sure, that's going to perform and sell tickets, and it's going to be a whole evening dedicated to Sweet Pond and some other great things, but very effective, so I'm psyched. I was psyched to go to a meeting, 1 hour, a lot accomplished. That was great. 2000.
Why does she keep bringing that up?
I don't mean it. So, anyway, we've all been to other meetings where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They will remain nameless. 2012 V-Trans Bicycle and Pedestrian Program. This was kind of nice to see, although we're not in a place yet where we can think about this, that they're starting to fund feasibility and construction for bicycle ped, that sort of stuff. I know you laugh, but it's a good program.
No, we're just laughing at our
Other feasibility we had a few years ago.
Oh, that one, that was kind of
different.
different, yes, we'll use that. So that's one. 2013 Municipal Park and Ride Program, another one we're not ready for.
But we're going to be.
Yes.
Eventually, yes. We have a plan.
We have land acquisition coming, all that good
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And that's a whole,
I don't
that's a
know
big
where that is, but
conversation
yeah,
for
that's a
another
whole-
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's, hopefully that program stays around for a while and we'll be able to
I
capitalize.
think we should be able to, especially with the Grange. I mean, I think that's
There's the great, there's actually a
historic
lot
range
that we
and-
can,
yeah.
yes, if we have a really good, thoughtful plan in place, we can do a lot of great work. And then the last piece is the Wyndham County Charter Stars report. So if anyone wants to take a peek at that.
And the July 23rd select board meeting, work meeting.
And we had talked at our last meeting about what we were going to do this, but let's go over.
Bill Jewell is going to be here, and we are going to do the road policy. Class E has been,
The highway ordinance, we're going
Highway
to dissect the highway ordinance and break it into small, manageable pieces.
So
that
the
we can
traffic
work
ordinance
on.
that we talked about doing to get it off our plate, we'll push that back
push
and
it
work on it.
back.
I'm fine with that.
Whatever you want to do, we can even
So
talk
we
about that
haven't-
one quickly at the beginning and put a plan for it and set it
The
aside.
traffic ordinance is so close.
It
Yeah,
is.
but I talked to Bill the other day, I met him on the road and explained that this is going on, and he said, I've been asking you for over a year to do the highway ordinance.
Let's do
I
it.
said, I know, and I said, come to the next meeting,
All right.
and
So that will take up all our time. And I
And we
think what we should do is set a
Yes.
chunk of time, 6:30 till 8.
Yes, and just know that that class 4 road
Is-
piece has to be a good solid discussion on how we're gonna move forward as a
Yes.
Are we gonna have Danny at the highway ordinance also?
we should be.
Danny
Yes,
will be
absolutely.
there, Bill will be there, yes.
Did you wanna look at this?
Is my name in it?
I don't know. Should it be?
Not
So,
unless I get pulled
I think
over and
that's the
not
hardest
paid
part
for
of the highway ordinance,
Yeah,
is
that
the
is,
class
so-
4 policy.
Other than that, I think it's all pretty straight.
I did have an idea with the other one where that, you know, if you look at a sign, for instance, you look at the top sign,
You're talking about the traffic ordinance, right?
yeah, the traffic ordinance, you got this. I had this bright idea that I could take a piece of paper, put Guilford Center Road, and go down Guilford Center Road and do all the side roads, put a stop sign or whatever. And not do it on a computer because I'm not.
Yeah, I get
on
it,
a
Matt.
computer. And then take Stage Road, there's a heading, again, Stage Road on the side roads.
Instead of the way that is.
Instead of the way it is,
I think
and that
that's
way you
good.
can look at one road and
Yeah.
zip down through it and
I
find
like
out all the signs there.
That would be much easier because I
And I
gotta
would
think
take
about
that.
You know what would be really great
Oh, here we go, yeah.
is to put, and I would bet that this is part of the sign policy package inventory, is to be able to take a map and drop them on the map.
They're all supposed to have numbers on them anyways,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because, and we had this discussion earlier, whether this new federal municipal uniform code or whatever, with the sign,
Yeah.
that has to be an ordinance or a policy, or just an inventory. And Danny is pretty concerned about it, it needs to get done. It's gonna cost a small fortune to replace the signs, and heaven forbid Brattleboro, if they do it all, I mean, the big towns is gonna kill them.
But you think we're gonna, I thought they'd taken that back.
No, they put it back
They
again.
put it back
They
again.
brought it back again, and Danny wants to go with replace as needed.
I like that, I'm all for that if it's an
Yeah,
option.
and it's gonna be still expensive, but,
And we can put that in our ordinance?
I believe it can, yes, and that's one of the
But I
things.
don't think we need a sign ordinance.
It might,
I think it's a
and we
policy,
discussed,
not
it might not be
ordinance.
an ordinance, it might just be an
I'm
inventory
gonna
and
find out
policy.
tomorrow.
Okay, great.
But I mean,
And
that's,
I think it makes sense that if we do have to do that anyway, then it ties into the ordinance, so we only
Yeah.
have to touch the ordinance
Yeah.
once. So it might make that more work than we originally thought.
Do you think we can do the highway ordinance in an hour and a half, or at least we can have a good discussion, because it's
We
really.
gotta have a
I think
discussion.
that what we're gonna have to do is take the highway ordinance and break it into pieces and maybe break off and individually work on pieces.
Okay, all right,
And then come back to the table and put them together and discuss.
all right. I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
That would be fine, but I have one thing to inform the board.
Sure.
The first meeting in August on the 13th,
Yes.
I will be out of town. I will be on family vacation,
Okay.
so just let it know.
All right, and that will be the business meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know.
and
Who would you like to join in the,
Nobody, just, there's nobody except you.
okay.
we will, let's see, when executive session, there's no business after that.
No, and there's not gonna be an action
No any
taken.
action.
It's just-
If you,
It's something that I became aware of on payroll, so.
just give you an out if you want one, that's all, because we're just gonna kick you out anyway, but you.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
I second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks out there, TV.